Hello, welcome to the channel. Today's conversation is about integrity loops. What's an integrity loop? Well, it's a way for us to continue to maintain a trajectory towards success in our goals, even if we get tripped up along the way. We've all had those moments where life hasn't necessarily been so easy. We were at a barbecue party on the weekend and we decided to nibble on those extra bits of ice cream or steak and didn't keep up with our fitness regimen. We've had those moments where instead of deciding to be productive, we decided to spend more time watching cat videos on YouTube, or likewise. This is ultimately a conversation to help you achieve your goals even when you trip up. And the power of this is not to be underestimated. You see, this is not about building yourself to succeed. It's about building yourself not to fail. And if I can relate this to a recent conversation from Tim Ferriss when he was interviewed by Men's Health magazine. And one thing that he said there is that he doesn't spend any time thinking about willpower or motivation. He spends his time focusing on building the right incentives. And that's exactly what we're going to get into today. I'm going to take you through the format and the structure of these integrity loops so you can understand how they're built. And these are actually all examples from my own personal life. The first example of an integrity loop is related to productivity. Let's say that, and this is true, I used to have a real addiction to YouTube. It got to the point where my fingers would open up the YouTube channel even without my mind directing them. And all of a sudden I was in this vortex of cat videos and America's Got Talent and all of these really fascinating, glittery, interesting things, but I would lose an hour, 2 hours, at times 3 hours a day just wasting time on that. And if I really want to be productive, I needed to build an integrity loop. And in this case, the consequence that I've structured, if I don't maintain and if I do watch anything that's YouTube related that isn't specifically relevant to a learning outcome that helps me bring my projects and my work forward, I miss a movie or a show with my girlfriend. So the next movie or show that she watches, I have to skip out on. This is just as painful for me as it is for her. Now, before I get into the next one, I want to bring up one important point to help us realize these integrity loops, which is to have a buddy. Have an accountability buddy or a coach who can be there to actually hold you to this standard that you're setting yourself to. Now, there is a requirement for this person. They are the type of friend who is a true friend, who's the kind of person that's willing to show you when your shit stinks, is willing to say, hey man, I really expect better of you. I know that you can do this better. You made this commitment, and as your friend, I'm gonna hold you to it. So let's get into another example. Relationship, another one of mine. If I get stressed, and this has happened in the past, and someone is making demands of me, like my girlfriend, I have had a tendency in the past to either get passive aggressive or kind of bite like a dog, like a And if that happens, the consequence that I've structured for this is I owe her a 10-minute massage. What's beautiful about this is, in the same way that this first one keeps me on track towards productivity, I miss a movie or show, I'm going to use that time to be productive. This same one helps me continue to maintain connection and love in my relationship. A third example, family. My grandparents, they live in Germany, on the other side of the world. And so for me to keep in touch with them has been difficult, or I at least have made the excuse that it's been difficult. And so I've built into my routine a commitment to call my grandparents once a week. And if I don't call them once a week, I send them flowers. Again, in both situations, I'm staying consistent with what's important to me, with that end goal that I have. Call my grandparents, and I'll continue to be able to have a great relationship with my grandparents because we're in contact. And if I fail at that, I'm still going to send them flowers. So it's a win-win both ways. And that is really the beauty of structuring these commitments and consequences in these integrity loops in that way. You might be asking, why is it called an integrity loop? Well, the way I like to think of it is like a roller coaster. You know those roller coasters where you're all of a sudden you're going down and you're screaming, things aren't working right, and there's something that brings you back up and puts you back on track towards that final destination, towards the end of the roller coaster. And that's exactly what these integrity loops are. Now, there's a few important things that you want to keep in mind to structure the commitments and consequences. The first is that they should require effort. If you don't want to put effort into things, then there's probably something much bigger that you're trying to shy away from. The second is that they both need to align with a certain goal that you're trying to achieve. That could be a goal related to fitness. It could be a goal related to overcoming some sort of addiction that you have. It could be a goal relating to creating better results at work, with relationships, to be able to create a community around yourself. Really, the options are unlimited, and the power of this is unbelievable. And the final thing is that you want to structure them in a way that there's no loopholes. It's really clear if I'm achieving my commitment, and it's really clear for me if I'm not and I'm failing, and what that consequence is. There's no way for me to wiggle out of that. So before I leave you, I want to share with you a quote that I think is really perfect to round out this whole conversation. It comes from the 4 Agreements from Don Miguel Ruiz. The first agreement, he says, be impeccable with your word. The first agreement is the most important one and also the most difficult one to honor. It is so important that with just this first agreement, you will be able to transcend the level of existence I call heaven on earth. That if we can just build a relationship of truth with ourselves and actually give our word value through our commitments and consequences, that everything is available to us. The kingdom is available to us. So that is it. What I'd love for you to do right now is, before you leave this video, I want you to type in the comments below a commitment and consequence that you're going to structure in life. You don't need to put in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever. You don't have to put in that many. I just want one. And write who your accountability buddy is going to be. Is it going to be a friend? Is it going to be a family member? Is it going to be a girlfriend? Who is going to hold you to that? And I'd really love to hear the results of this work. Because for me, this has been the most transformative thing in my road to success. It is what has kept me on track and has kept me feeling good, even when things have felt like they were starting to fall apart. I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you in the next video.